Now we're going to get into doing some of these with extraneous solutions. So we're going to get some extra answers. If you guys remember, goodness, last semester, if you remember, what we did was we were solving and we got extraneous solutions. We introduced basically a new solution in our solving, so we had to then check, and then one we canceled out basically. So, getting into an example of solving, this is yet another problem, just solving them, and it tells you we're going to get an extraneous. It won't always tell you we're going to get an extraneous, so you just need to be aware to always check, because it is always a possibility. All right, this is what we've got. I'm going to go ahead and factor. So this left-hand side is factored all the way. And then you get 8x squared over x squared minus 9 is difference of squares. That turns to x plus 3, x minus 3, minus 4x over x plus 3. Now, using fraction busters, I need to multiply both sides by my least common multiple, which is going to be x plus 3, x minus 3. I'm putting parentheses around that whole piece because you need to remember to distribute it to both parts. And on this left-hand one, I also need to multiply it. So x plus 3 times x minus 3. Now these are over 1. Basically, I'm stretching both sides of my equation, so we don't have to do the big one. We're just, now that we have an equal sign, we can do it to both sides. So the x minus 3's cancel on that left, and I have 6 times x plus 3 equals. Now, when I take this x plus 3, x minus 3, and I multiply it, that whole denominator goes away, and I'm just left with an 8x squared. Basically, the numerator and the denominator cancel. And then the second one is the x plus 3's cancel, and I'm left with 4x times x minus 3. It gets a little messy, so if you need to, you can write that x plus 3, x minus 3 multiplied to both pieces as like connected to them, so they're small, so you can read it. If not, you can do it the way I was doing it. 6x plus 18 equals 8x squared minus 4x squared plus 12x. Negative times negative is a positive. We'll go ahead and solve, set it equal to 0. Whoops. Minus 18. So we're going to subtract 6x minus 18, so that's set equal to 0. And we have a 4x squared plus a 6x minus 18. We can go ahead and pull out a 2. So that gives us a 2x squared plus 3x minus 9 equals 0 still. We're going to need to go ahead and factor. Use that box method. What multiplies to get negative 9 when we're left with 2x squared. How do we get a 3x when multiplying these together? We should have a 3 and a negative 3. That gives us 6x and a negative 3x, and that works. So 0 equals 2x minus 3 times x plus 3. I let that 2 kind of float away because that doesn't do anything. That's just a stretch. That doesn't affect anything. So the 2 goes away. And so we are left with x equals negative 3 and 3/2. So this is where the extraneous solutions come in, is when we go ahead and check our answers. So I made it really small so that I can have some space. So I'm going to start with the negative 3. So 6 over negative 3 minus 3 equals 8 negative 3 squared. All right, so 6 over negative 3 minus negative 3, that's negative 1. 9 times 8, that's 72. Negative 3 squared is 9. 9 minus 9 is 0. And there we see our issue. We cannot have 72 divided by 0. So honestly, at this point, that's irrelevant. And this is undefined. So our x equals negative 3 is not an answer. That is an extraneous solution. Now, we should also check that 3/2 to be safe. So 6 over 3/2 minus 3 equals 8 3/2 squared. 3/2 squared minus 9 minus 4 times 3/2 over 3/2 plus 3. I know fractions are extremely undesirable, but that's the way we gotta go with it. This goes and gives us a negative 4. We want to see if it equals his right-hand side. When we simplify that first fraction over a fraction, we end up getting negative 8 over 3. And then that right-hand one, we end up getting a negative or minus 4/3. And so negative 4 equals, what is that? Negative 12 over 3. Negative 4 equals negative 4. And there we go. So 3/2 is our only answer. So our extraneous solution is x equals negative 3. And your real solution is 3/2.